In the next 5 to 10 years, marriage is going to be extinct. People think and believe that attraction is love. If you are used to chaos and someone brings peace and calm, you will not be able to appreciate it. Red flags were never hidden. We just do not want to see them. You do not have the capacity to love until you know yourself. It's funny when I hear people say that, oh, love is not enough. It is because of their anger issues that the relationships are spoiling. You cannot give what you do not have. Some people do not understand that they don't know how to talk. My love language is money. Okay, do you have money? No. How can you have a language you can't speak? St. Valentine's Day is just one day, right? You can't say that, oh, if I don't give you gifts, I don't love you. What if I don't? Does that mean I love you any less? You don't have money. It means that that language is not your own. You're trying to speak someone's language. On X, people call me Dr. God Abego. Funny, right? And people know me by different names for different things. But essentially, I'm Dr. Josh, psychotherapist. I've been around for over a decade doing what I'm doing, and it's been an amazing experience. One of the core things I help people to do is to come to terms with the reality of their lives. Understand yourself. Understand that life is beautiful and amazing, but you can't have it if you're not willing to get it. And for you to truly understand the depths and the true core of life as it relates to you, you must be able to understand the experience, even from when you were not truly aware of things to when you became aware and till now as you are an adult. So to go through life absent of the core experiences that define what you call life will be doing yourself a disservice. Hence, this conversation for today. Interesting. The biggest lie people believe about love, especially with Valentine's Day coming, right? I'm going to put this very simple. And I'm speaking from over a decade of experience dealing with people in relationships and life generally. One of the greatest misconceptions about the core of love is people think and believe that attraction is love. People confuse being attracted to someone as being in love with someone, right? You cannot mistake the fact that you like someone to automatically mean that you love them. And this is where I have a big problem with the concept and ideology of love at first sight. What that truly is attraction at first sight. You can be attracted to someone. They look beautiful. They look, for whatever reason, maybe they speak well, they smell well. People have different things that attract them to someone, right? But people tend to mistake attraction for love. And when you do that, we tend to forget that attraction is premised on emotional manipulations. Attractions is premised on how you feel, and feelings are not consistent. They can change. They're situation based. So if the way you feel about someone changes, does that mean you stop loving them? So one of the core problems with what we call love today is the fact that we confuse attraction for love. Being attracted to someone can be the beginning process to what we call love. But attraction has never been and can never be the core of love. It doesn't mean that, you don't need to be attracted to someone. It just simply means that being attracted is just a part of the whole that makes what we call love, basically. Okay, interesting question. I'm going to try to say this as simple as I can and still not lose the core. And this is something I tell people often. We are a product of our childhood experiences. Who you are today as an adult is a product of everything you experienced as a child. Now, the things you saw, the things you were taught, the morals you picked up, everything culminated together to define what you are as an adult. Now, people may want to ask, so does that mean people who have bad experiences or good experiences, their adulthood is, we can break that down, right? Essentially, what this simply means is you must be able to understand what built you up, what created the foundations of who you are right now as an adult, right? So I'm going to give a practical example I always use. There is this village and there was this pathological drunkard. His case was so terrible that most times they have to bring him home from the gutters. After I was drunk, he sleeps in the gutters. Now, he got married and had two amazing kids, a pair of twins, two boys. Now, these boys grew up into adulthood, and one of them became a medical doctor. The other ended up as a drunkard like the father. Now, during an interview, both of them were asked separately, why did you turn out the way you did? And their answers were the same. Both of them replied, because my father was a drunkard. Now, what does this simply say? These two people came from the same experiences, but one of them was able to evolve out of that experience. They were able to see that, okay, this is not something I want to be. This is not something I like. This is not the trajectory I want for my life. So I need to do better. I need to find better experiences. I need to find how to get out of this life. While the other one did not see any need to change anything. He rather sunk into it. And that defines exclusively how the human life experience works. You can come from the worst of backgrounds and have the best of life. It comes down to the decisions you made. Do you think this is good? Do you want to work yourself out of that place? Or you could also say, well, this is just what I've come to see. This is where I am. I'm just going to accept it and just... So what you essentially turn out to become is a product of your childhood experiences. Now, what you must do is to be able to put these experiences on a spectrum, put them against good judgment, and tell yourself, is this what I truly want? Or I really want to get out of this. I could grow out of this. I could do better than this. So in a simple way to put it, we are a product of our childhood experiences. Whether you turn out good or bad, it depends on how much you are able to introspect, reflect, and then grow out of wherever the situation was that groomed you to become who you are in your adulthood. This is an interesting question. It's something I get asked a lot in seminars or symposiums. And one of the core things I try to tell people is you do not have the capacity to love until you know yourself. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. This is not a product of opinion. It's premised on researched and studied facts proven over time, centuries of studies, right? You cannot give what you do not have, one, and you cannot give what you do not understand. If you do not understand love from the core of who you are, you will never be able to give it. You can give the things you saw that look like love. You can give the things that felt like love, the things that when you look at them, they feel like love. But the core of what love is not how you feel. Because there is this ideology right now that people believe that, I interpret love the way I want to. If we do that, then the core of what love is lost. Everybody can now begin to interpret anything and everything just the way they like. There is your part that you could interpret, but there is what it actually is. So whatever you are interpreting is something you're supposed to draw from what it is. There is what is objective, there is what is subjective. Your subjective opinion should be able to balance back to the objective ideology of what love is, right? So I believe if you do not know yourself, if you have not been able to come to terms with who you are, the core of who you are, beyond the performances, beyond the dopamine, beyond the charade, all the validations, external validation you seek and get, if you do not know yourself, you will not be able to love. One of the reasons a lot of relationships fail, people still to tomorrow do not understand, is a basic product of lack of self-awareness. A lot of people, when I talk to people in therapy, some people do not even understand that it is because of their anger issues that the relationships are spoiling. It's easy to blame their partners because a partner is reacting to what they did. Now, in that point, they are not even seeing their actions and inactions. All they see is their partner's reaction. And then they shift the blame. Some people do not understand that they don't know how to talk. They don't understand that when you're talking to your partner, it's something different than when you're talking to a friend. There are dynamics to all of this. Now, if you do not know yourself, you're just going to be living and existing with how you feel with your partner. And then you're invariably sabotaging your relationship without knowing it. And this is why we have people consistently repeat the same relationship patterns. The same set of people hurt you, the same set of experiences, and you're not sitting down to wonder, right? There's the one thing I always say is, you've dated 5 people, and 5 people treat you terribly. Do you not see you are the constant denominator in that particular conversation? 5 people who do not know themselves dated you, and somehow all of them treated you the same way, terribly disrespect you, demean you, undermine you. And you still do not think that, okay, maybe the problem is me, right? So this is where the problem is. So you need to go on a self-awareness journey. Very important. If you don't do that, chances are you will never truly be able to give or experience love. You might have experiences that look like love, experiences that feel like love, and all these feelings are a product of what you've seen. So if you saw violence growing up as an expression of love, you will believe that violence is something that comes with love. And if you meet someone who is calm, who loves and respects you, you may not be able to be with them because that's not something you're used to. So until you understand that these things could form what can be your definition of love and life, then you may be doing yourself a great disservice. So essentially, for you to be that person who can give and receive love, who can grow in love, you must go on a self-awareness journey. Man, know thyself. What do people misunderstand about love? A couple of things. I think in the grand scheme of things, especially in the today's relationship dynamics, I see in my professional experience that a lot of people think love is performance. A lot of people believe love is performance. It's one of the core things. In fact, I'm just going to speak to this because it's affects every other thing I would want to talk about. A lot of people believe love is performance. A lot of people believe that love is how you make them feel, essentially. Now, let's not take away from the fact and reality that how someone makes you feel can affect how you express and give love to them or how you receive love from them. But you can't say that it's all about how they make you feel. Right? So, like I said, people think love is performance. So people get into relationships, get married, looking for performances. Now, always in the beginning phase of a relationship, there's a lot of dopamine working. There is a lot of heightened emotions. So you're going to see a lot of performance. Always, they're always going to show up. They're always going to do something that's going to make you excited, right? But the reality sets in when you begin to understand yourself and bond. Now, this reality is very harsh because it's going to reveal aspects of you that you never thought you had in you and about you. And that can make you essentially lose focus on what truly you're supposed to do in that context, right? So until people come to terms with the reality that love is not about performances, love is not about the things someone makes you see, the things someone makes you believe, but love is about essentially the core, the true nature of two people aligning with each other. I don't have to perform for you. I can be myself. I can be the amazing, calm, quiet person that I am, and you still find me wonderful to be with. You can be the loud, noisy person you are, and I still find you okay to be with. I don't have to shift personalities. I don't have to shift anything just to be with you. Because if we consistently stay in the place of performance, it gets exhausting. And once it gets exhausting, the true nature that we were performing or outperforming just to be with the person we love is going to come out. And then the reality comes in, and then we'll begin to question, why are we together? What even happened? What did I even see in this person? You didn't see anything. You just wanted performances, and they gave that to you. So. Okay. Let me this question is giving me a lot of, I don't know, is it deja vu? I can't find the right word I want to use right now, but let's talk about what red flags are so we can have a context to it. People often use the word red flag without understanding the implications of what it means. People now use that word red flag as a way and reason to act out of character, have weird expectations and demands from their partners. Now, let's put things in perspective. Essentially, a red flag is simply certain things about a person that you cannot cope with, right? So, for example, you see someone who dresses in a particular kind of way, and some people say that's a red flag. I'm not going to tell you what to choose as red flag, but I'm going to tell you that dressing is something people can change, especially when someone wants you. One thing I've seen in my experience is when someone truly wants you, they do anything and everything to make it work. They don't even agree. They may not agree that they are changing or they are making adjustment, but they were doing it intentionally just to make it work. So to say that because someone dresses in a particular kind of way, it's a red flag, is you being short-sighted for the most part. But again, like I said, I can't tell you what to call red flags. So when you find things that do not align, those are what red flags are. Now, when we say, why do people ignore red flags when they're in love? Let's start by saying that people truly, are they really in love? Or they like, or should I say, they love the way they are being treated, right? Now, there's a way someone treats you that satisfies a certain validation you desire. People can call that love. Sometimes it's mommy or daddy issues. Sometimes it's abandonment issues. Sometimes it's boredom and being alone. But people tend to interpret that as love. Now, once you're able to satisfy an emotional need of someone, most times their brains go off to the reality right in front of them. Once you're able to make someone feel a type of way, their brains go off. Now, this is one thing I always tell people, especially in therapy, right? When people come and they're telling me how things went in their relationship, there's one thing people always say. I can say for up to 90 to 95% in my experience, when people go through breakup and they're trying to heal and we're discussing in therapy, one thing you always hear is, I saw it. Or I knew it. I just did not want to pay attention to it. That's where it gets interesting. The truth is, red flags were never hidden. We just do not want to see them, because there is a way this person makes us feel at that point in time. So because this person is making me feel like this at this point in time, there is no need to even bother checking any other thing. So most times we get carried away. Now, the point is, people tend to lose their senses when they're in love. In quote, because if we want to explore that, it's another conversation entirely. But people tend to lose their senses when they are in love. So I always tell people, especially in therapy, that you need to find a balance. You can be attracted to someone. Again, we've come back to the conversation of attraction and love, because most times people call love is just attraction. You can be attracted to someone, but understand that for you to choose this person, you must know them. So first of all, I do not believe that you can love someone you do not know. It's almost impossible. Now, I'm not talking about platonic love. I'm talking about romantic love. It's impossible to love someone you do not know, because when you finally get to know them and you begin to feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been into this. That's the reality. You did not truly love them. You chose them for something that they presented to you that you liked. So again, performances make people think that they are in love. And when you are able to satisfy a certain emotional need of someone, a part of their brain is turned off to the reality that is in front of them. So this is one of the major reasons people mistake, or should I say ignore, red flags. Two things I mentioned. One, people do not understand the concept and the core of what love is. So they fall for the performances. And when these performances satisfies a certain emotional need, it shuts their brains off. So they are not thinking. They are not being realistic. It's not like they can't see it. It's just that they don't want to see it, because seeing it is going to take them away from the feeling they have. So let's just enjoy it while it lasts. They don't know that this is what they tell themselves in their subconscious, but this is what they do tell themselves. For now, let me enjoy it. Right? So I think that answers your question. Okay. We tend to be more aligned with the familiar. People it's by the virtue of human nature, what is familiar is what it's easier for us to align with. So people who have certain experiences, dynamic experiences as it comes to relationship, always find themselves realigning with those patterns because they are similar, they are familiar to them. So every time they repeat this is because it is what they know and it is what they are used to. So it becomes easy for them to go back to these things. Now, it goes back to one of the questions I was asked earlier, and I spoke about self-awareness, right? If you do not understand yourself, you are going to repeat patterns that are unhealthy for you. And when you do that, you are doing yourself a disservice. But the problem with that is because you've not been able to come to full circle about yourself, it becomes a normal thing for you to fall back to the things that hurt and destroy you. Now, you may not even see that, oh, this is what I'm doing. It takes someone else to see and tell you, do you not see that this is something you're doing? And for the most part, people will argue. Now, I've seen people who come to me in therapy and they say, oh, I've done this before and I know I want a good man. I know I want a good woman. This is what I want. But somehow they're not coming. And I try to help them understand. It's not like they're not coming. It's just that what you are used to is not what they are bringing. If you are used to chaos and someone brings peace and calm, you will not be able to appreciate it. It's not like you don't want it. But because it's difficult to receive, you will find a way to sabotage it, even if it's not intentional. You will find a way to destroy that beautiful person that came your way. If you are used to loud, noisy experiences, when someone comes with calm, you will feel like that person is boring. You feel like this person is boring. I can't do this. I want someone that is, spontaneous, someone that can make me feel, hello, I need you to hear it when you say it to yourself, right? You are more aligned with the familiar nature of chaos. So it becomes easy for you to fall back to that. And this comes to the conversation. People always go back to the experiences that hurt them because they're familiar to it. And you cannot come out of this if you do not go back to understand yourself. There is something that makes you enjoy this. There's something that makes this thing look beautiful to you. If you do not find it out, you are doing yourself a disservice because you will consistently go back to it. I've had people I've spoken to who have been in more than 8-10 relationships, and it's the same thing repeating. It was really crazy. I had to tell them, do you not see it? that you are the problem in all of this. You are the problem. And that doesn't take away the fact that the people might have hurt you or done something wrong to you. But you can't have repeated patterns and not try to find out what the problem is. So essentially, people just like to go back to what they're familiar with. Now, it doesn't mean that it is okay. It just means this is what they are okay with. So now, if you want to change your experiences, you have to do the work of coming to terms with who you are and why you fancy these things. It was a crazy work for me. I did the work myself, and it was a very crazy journey, because this work is going to expose you to aspects of yourself you never thought existed. It's going to expose personalities you did not even see. Sometimes it's going to show you that you are a monster in certain ways that you never thought you were. But that's what the work will do for you. So take your time and try to understand who you truly are that makes you align yourself with these things. What truth about relationships that people hate to accept? I'm going to navigate the questions first from when relationships break up and into when people are in relationships. One of the major problems is, one major truth people don't want to tell themselves is they contributed to it. When the relationship ends, the first thing people like to do is to look for fault in their partners. It was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. She did this, she did that. Right? Now, of course, like I said, you are a part of the problem. Now, if you do not try to understand the part you played in the problem, chances that you will repeat the same mistakes and experience are very high. So you must come to terms with the reality that I probably did certain things that I shouldn't have done, or I didn't do certain things that I should have done. Now, when a relationship comes to an end, now this is my own personal experience, I take time. Now, for me, it's easier because of, my experience and dynamic knowledge. It's easier for me to do it in a short period of time. But for some people, you need to process it. It takes a lot of time. I sit back and ask myself, what did I even do? Most times, I'm not even focused on the other person, because everything that you accept and tolerate from the other person is because you made them feel like they could do it to you. Nobody can do anything to you that you do not accept. If they do it once and you talk about it, they do it again and you talk about it. Now, because we are, practical people, and we like to give people time to change, you do it a third time, you talk about it. For me, it's a sign that you do not truly value me in your life. I'm not going to stay there. I could like you to the ends of the world, to the moon and back, but I will not stay there, because I can't stay with someone who does not respect and value my presence, right? So I will sit down. Okay, there were things I allowed. There were things I saw that I should have paid attention to, I didn't. And there were things I did. I probably was the terrible person in that relationship. That's the ugly one people don't like to talk about. You were probably the bad person in that relationship. You may say, oh, I just wanted him to communicate. Do you realize that you probably have problem communicating with that person? Maybe you have a way you want to be talked to, and that person is not talking to you that way, and then you get angry. It may just be you, but you have to be able to understand it. You have to be able to sit with yourself, have this conversation with yourself. So the first one is, especially when relationships end, is you could have been a major part of the problem. Sit with yourself, understand how you contributed to the problem, and try to find a way to avoid that becoming a reoccurrence in your subsequent relationships. The other part is people truly do not understand what love is. That is why people say love is not enough. In fact, this is one of the most annoying statements anybody can say to me. And I'm saying this without mincing words. It's one of the most, I'm speaking as a spiritual person, right? Someone who believes in God, I'm a Christian, practically. So it's funny when I hear people say that, oh, love is not enough. Well, what you call love is not love for the most part. I've tried to explain it in previous questions that people misconstrue attraction for love. Being attracted to someone doesn't necessarily mean that you love them. You are attracted to them. That's what it is. Now, if you interpret attraction as love, then it's okay for you to believe that love is not enough. But if you understand the core intricacies of love is patience, love is kind, love is understanding, love does not envy, love does not seek to revenge. That is what love is in its core. So if you understand this and still think that love is not enough, then you're delusional. If nobody will tell you, I will. You're a very delusional person. And you probably do not even need to be in the conversation of love. I've told people sometimes, I've told someone during a seminar, I said, with the way the person was speaking, and I told them, if you're not willing to do the work to grow out of where you are now, please do not attempt to try to love anybody. You will destroy them. And I was being real with the person, right? So people need to understand that what you call love in relationships, modern day relationships, isn't what it is. Love in its core form, in its intricate form, is beyond enough in the grand scheme of things. So until people can understand what love truly is, they may never truly be able to accept the practical realities that comes with relationships that makes relationships amazing. And thirdly, people need to understand that there are times that relationships can be boring, right? People are in that place where they want energy every time. They want a certain kind of energy. They feel like, oh, things has to be this way. No, there are times that it can just be calm. There are times that I've been in situations where the person I'm dating we could be on phone for a couple of minutes and we're not saying anything, but we're okay with our silence. And some people may think that's weird. No, that's not. Being able to stay in your silence. You speak only when you have to, because by the virtue of human nature, it's not every time that energy is there. There are factors that affect us as humans that define our capacity to be able to relate the way we want to relate. So tell me now, I'm dealing with an emotional stress from work and I come back home and you want me to be all jivey because you're in a good mood. It doesn't work that way. Realistically, we're being delusional. It doesn't work that way. We have to be practical. So in relationships, especially for people who are in long-term relationships, committed, those who are married, you cannot expect everything to be the same. You do not expect your partner to give you the same energy every time. It doesn't work that way. The reality does not even, it's not possible realistically, except you want your partner to perform. And when they perform, you like performances, they're going to get tired. A performer gets to a point where he bows out of stage. And because you like performance, they give you performance. When they get tired, they will bow out. So it's important you understand that there are different times in relationships. There are times that it could be, in quote, bored. It could be boring. It doesn't mean that that person has stopped loving you or stopped being attracted to you. It just means that this is a situation and a phase that we can deal with, and it will go over time. But many people are not willing to understand that. That's why they end their relationships, they destroy their relationships, and then they come back to complain that, oh, my partner is this. And no, your partner is nothing. You're just a very problematic person who has not been able to come to terms with the realities of what a relationship is about. Okay. Oh, this is an amazing question. I actually like it because many people do not know what love is. Many people do not know what a healthy relationship is. I'm saying this without mincing words. I'm talking. I've been part of a lot of studies and researches. I've done a lot myself in even my own practical experience. A lot of people do not know what love is. They don't even have an idea. The slightest idea they don't have. But everybody wants love. So it's funny wanting what you don't even know. So that's why anybody can give you anything. If it looks like something you think it is, you'll accept it. A healthy relationship is one of the most, in quote, beautiful things you can find in the world. When you find two people who are in a healthy relationship, you will envy them for the most part, right? But the problem is we don't even understand what healthy relationship looks like. So this is why I really fancy this question. So a healthy relationship, first of all, a relationship between two people is two people choosing each other in spite of themselves to build something valuable. That's my simplest definition of a relationship. Two people choosing each other in spite of themselves to build something valuable. So when you see two people say, oh, we're in a relationship, what I hear is we have seen ourselves. We have seen our past, we have seen our present, and we are hopeful for our future, and we think it's good to be together. Now, understand the things I said, because it helps you to understand the flow of what a healthy relationship looks like. We've seen ourselves, we've seen our past, we're seeing our present, and we are hopeful for our future. What this means simply is they know each other well enough to understand how to balance each other out. So if I'm a boring person and my partner tends to be a lively person, we find a way to balance it. So now, my partner is not going to get tired of me and say, oh, you're too boring. You knew this about me. It didn't just start today. This is who I've always been, right? I didn't hide it from you. I'm not going to say, oh, my partner is too lively. I knew this about this person. So the first thing that defines a healthy relationship is finding a balance. The two people say, okay, this is who we are, and this is what we want. So how do we make it work? A healthy relationship involves healthy conversations. And healthy conversations involves active listening. Healthy conversations involve active listening. That your capacity to listen to your partner, understand them, seek clarity, and apply what you have heard. Most people do not understand the art of listening. People do not think listening. In fact, communication, the main point, the main core of communication is your capacity to listen. So if you do not have the capacity to listen, you cannot communicate. And in listening, we're talking about you hearing what your partner is saying without bringing in how you feel about it. No. You can feel a type of way, but listen and understand what your partner is saying. Do not use your feeling to misconstrue what your partner is saying. So, for example, I'm having a conversation with someone and I'm like, babe, I do not like the way you snore when you sleep. A healthy conversation is, oh, really? Okay. I don't know when I snore, so I can't really tell. Can you tell me how it is? Or can we, you know what? Let's record me. Let me even hear how I snore to know. That's because I heard my partner, I tried to understand what they're saying, and I myself, I even want to know about it. But a non-healthy conversation will be, so now you are calling me someone that snores, Abi. Now you are complaining about how I sleep. How am I supposed to sleep? Is there another way to sleep? Is the way I sleep? You can't tell me how to sleep. Is the way I want to sleep? I'll sleep. Now, it's simple conversation that's supposed to bring balance and understanding turns into a fight. Right? So a healthy relationship involves a lot of healthy conversations, which speaks to active listening, right? Active listening, reflective listening. There are different types of listening, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. A healthy relationship involves two people who are not fighting each other. Most relationships today, you find that it's a competition. It's really crazy when I see couples come to me, especially when I'm doing premarital counseling. One of the things that really phases me out is when I see that two people are trying to get married, and at every point in time, they feel like they're in a competition. Calm down. We are together. For crying out loud, it's me and you. Why are we fighting? Right? When I tell people that you can actually avoid fighting in your relationship, they look at me like I'm supposed to say I'm just talking, because I'm just being theoretical. I just want to talk. The first thing I tell myself when I want to get into a relationship with my partner, I tell them it's me and you. We are for each other, not against each other. And what that means is if I say something you don't like or you don't understand, you ask for clarity and I will give you. You do not assume anything. You do not make up things in your mind and then look for ways to blame me for it. No, you talk to me about it. I will give you clarity. And after my clarity, you still do not like it, you tell me, I've heard you, but I still do not like this thing. And I will tell you, okay, I've heard you as well. So what do we do about this? It's really that simple. But we try to complicate things and make it look like relation. When people tell relationships are difficult, I say, lie, no, it's not difficult. We human beings are difficult. We make relationships difficult because relationships don't make themselves. We constitute what we call relationships. So if you're a difficult person, I'm a difficult person, we will never be able to make it work. So it's about finding balance. So a healthy relationship speaks to two people who understand that it is me and you, not me versus you. A healthy relationship understands that times can change, right? A healthy relationship understands that, oh, today you may really be in a good mood, and that means we're going to have fun. And you may be in a bad mood, which means I'm just going to calm down. I'm not going to now say because you're in a bad mood, you have stopped loving me. It's a tragic thing that people do. I don't want to, I'm being careful not to say things that will trigger people, even though I don't really care how people feel when they get triggered. The point is, you must understand that for relationships to work, it's not you versus your partner, it's you and them. If you saw them as an enemy, why did you choose them? Why exactly did you choose to be with them if you did not see them as someone you can work with? Again, all this goes back to the conversation we're having about your childhood experiences that defines who you become as an adult. So if you're not able to understand what prompts your thinking, what validates your thought pattern and process and mentality around relationships, you'll continue to have this problem. So essentially, a healthy relationship could be boring, could be calm, could be quiet. A healthy relationship does not seek control. A healthy relationship is not looking to manipulate. A healthy relationship is that relationship where both parties involved in it are looking out for each other, consistently looking out for each other. Conversations are built around helping each other and supporting each other. Conversations are built around what is it you don't know about me? What is it you want to understand that I did? Right? So a healthy relationship takes away all the chaos, all the drama. It could be very boring. Trust me. It could be very... I've dated someone that told me that they don't like how calm and quiet I am. And I was shocked. Not because they said it, because it immediately helped me understand where this person is coming from mentally. Now, I now have to sit down and decide, do I really want to be with this person? Because it means I'm going to spend a lot of time teaching this person to like calm. And I'm going to also spend a lot of time learning to understand a tad chaos and accept it the way it is. Right? But this is the reality of what people do in relationships. Like I said, most times people don't have these conversations. People don't ask the real questions when they want to do relationships. Most times they hear, what's your favorite color? Where do you like to go? What do you like to do for fun? Those things do not hold relationships, though. They don't. They're just for the fun part, mostly for the beginning part. When you get into the relationship and you begin to experience the realities of what it is to be with someone, this is why most relationships, I don't know if you know this, but there is a study that shows that the lifespan of a typical relationship today around the world is 6 months. And the lifespan of a typical marriage is 3 years. Sounds funny, but when you think about it, it's crazy and it's deep and it's scary. But these are the conversations we need to be having. Oops. Okay. I'm letting the question to simmer because if I was going to answer this question the way it's doing me, it will be violence all the way. But I can't answer with violence. I need to be professional and considerate of people's feelings. I've told people time and again that Valentine's Day for me has not been something I truly appreciate, because over time, I've seen Valentine's Day come and go, and I've seen how people treat it. And there is no really sane person who's thinking, right, who will say, oh, this is fun. Mm-mm. The only people who think it's fun is people who benefit from it. If you're not benefiting from it, you will see what it is, right? You will say, okay, this doesn't make sense. But if you are benefiting from it, of course, it will be fun. So essentially, the core of what Saint Valentine did was to show love in unfathomable ways. In fact, it was nothing about the way we have turned it to be now. So for a day like this, I expect people to reflect on their lives and their love experiences. I'm not talking about just romantic love now. I'm talking about your love with yourself, your love with your friends, and your love with your family. What do you call love, and how do you show them love? I've told people time and again that if your only way to know that I love you is the gifts I give you, it means you essentially do not want me to love you. You want me to give you gifts. Let's call it what it is. Let's not mince words. If you want gifts, tell me, okay, I'm going to be your gift giver. But you can't say that, oh, if I don't give you gifts, I don't love you. Do you consider if I have the capacity to give you gift? What if I don't? Does that mean I love you any less? Some people will say, oh, if he wanted to, he would, or if she wanted to, she would. Well, let me speak to men, because it's men that mostly that experience that burden in this period. There is, by the virtue of human nature, there is no man who will not want to be in that place where they spoil their woman. Trust me, it's in the ego of men to want to spoil their person. Not just woman now. When a man has money, he wants to spoil his family. He wants to spoil his friends. Why do you think when men make money, the first thing they are thinking is either their family or friends? They invite their friends to go out. It's because it is in our natures, men, to want to do these things. It becomes a problem when you make it an expectation of me, a duty. No, I owe you nothing. I owe you. The fact that I love you does not mean I have to do, because it's one of the crazy things, right? I think maybe in our next conversation, this is what we are going to explore, right? The fact that I love you doesn't mean I owe you anything. My love should be enough for you. To say that if I don't give you gift means I don't love you is delusional. If nobody will tell you, I will tell you. What is it you give to me then? Or am I the only one who's going to love you? Is it only me loving you that's important? What about what you are doing for yourself? Right? So in this period, I expect people to take time to settle down, introspect, ask questions, understand what you mean by love, understand what you call love, understand what you value, and be able to find a balance within yourself. Only give what you have to give. Do not go over and abroad. Do not hurt yourself. Do not try to get out of your way to do things that will eventually hurt you. Anybody who truly loves you will understand that, you are in a place where there are things you cannot afford, right? And when you can afford it, you do it. St. Valentine's Day is just one day, right? 24 hours. For the most part, it's only for about 12 or 16 hours that people really feel all this emotional dopamine and everything. After then, it's gone. So every other day that I've loved you will not count. Every other day that I've shown up for you will not count. Right? So this is it. On a day like Valentine's Day, settle down, understand what you love, show love to your family and friends. And I'm not talking about gifts. In fact, if I say this, I might get cancelled, but I'm not looking out for what gift you're going to give me or what gift I'm going to give you. Because I could give anything and you could give anything and still not love me. That's the part we don't even want to address. Gifts could be performative. If I want you to do something for me now, I could give you a gift and it's going to make you feel indebted to me. So it's the core of who you are, expressing love beyond the gifts. I'm not saying gifts cannot be part of expressing love, but it should not be a requirement for you to love or show love to someone. Once it gets to that point, it becomes performances. And like we've already said in a couple of conversations already, anything performative comes to an end. And at that point, the reality sets in, basically. Okay, let me say this, right. One of the things I've heard a lot in this day and time, I'm just going to address some things that are consistent in this day and time. People say a lot. First, one of them is that relationships are not necessary. Love is calm, and marriage is, especially for men. I read time and again men say, "Oh, there's no need for marriage." And I'm going to be practical with you, right? You say all these things because you have not been able to find someone. Yes, I'll say it. You say all these things because you have not been able to find someone. I tell people that if I find the person that aligns with me right now, someone who compliments me, I can marry them in a heartbeat. Because whoever I choose to get married to is someone that will balance me out. Someone who will understand what they are getting into. It's not going to be someone who likes the idea of being in a relationship or likes the idea of being in love. It's going to be someone who knows what they are getting into. So we're going to be working together as a team. So because you've not found it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So don't shut it out because of other people's experience. Number 2, stop living in borrowed trauma. Most of the things I've seen people speak about, especially on social media, is, oh, women are this, women are that, women are this. I don't want to argue with you, but most times I found that a lot of people do not even have these experiences. It's what someone else came and said that they've experienced. Someone has come, oh, a woman did this to me, a man did that to me, and then you borrow that trauma and begin to relive it in your life. No, it's foolishness. You have not had that experience. What we're supposed to do is learn from people's experience, not take them. So if someone comes and tells me, oh, I dated a man or I dated a woman and this happens, my questions are, okay, could you tell me about the relationship? What happened in the relationship? I want to hear the parts that you're not saying, because the parts you're saying will always make you look like the good guy. What are the parts that you did bad? You can't tell me you're 100% good. Nah. And there are things that you did that you don't even know were bad, but they were bad. Sometimes when people are together, they tend to tolerate each other. It's the reality of relationships. So it's important you ask yourself this question, right? You don't just stay and be borrowing people's trauma. Don't do that. Even a child does not do that. So why would an adult, as grown as you are, in this your age, some of you are supposed to be grandparents, right? Some of you should be grandparents already, and you are here fighting and carrying trauma that does not belong to you. And another thing I'm going to say is, people need to be more practical. People in this time and age, we have to talk a lot about, oh, I have my standards, I have my, oh, there's this fancy word they use. I can't really remember now. No, it's not spec. I can't find the word. It's eluding me right now. But we tend to have a lot of standards, and for some reason, these standards we have do not practically align with who we are. Your standards have to align with who you are. Realistically, you cannot have standards that do not align with you. Like someone will say, "Oh, when they ask, what's your love language?" My love language is money. Okay, do you have money? No. How can you have a language you can't speak? You don't have money. It means that that language is not your own. You are trying to speak someone's language. You don't have money. So for you to have money as your love language, it means you should have money because you must communicate in that language. So let's dive down on these unnecessary standards that we're having. Let's be more realistic. There is a study that was done, I think last year or 2 years ago. At some point, I was part of the people that processed some data for that study. It shows that in the next 5 to 10 years, marriage is going to be extinct. It's not funny. It's not even funny, as simple as it sounds. It says that marriage is going to be extinct, one. And two, humanity is going to extinction. That's not even news anymore because there's a lot of data showing that. I was studying I was reading something recently, and I think either in Japan or China, I can't remember. I think maybe in Japan or Korea, their birth rate declined by 18%. Do you know how crazy that is? 18%. So the reality is we must come to terms with who we are and accept who we are. Come to terms with who we are and accept who we are. Tell ourselves the truth. Enough of the delusions we are creating. Right? And finally, I'll say this. Go on a self-awareness journey. It's important. Go on a self-awareness journey. Try to understand yourself. Understanding yourself will help you understand why you like the things you do like, why you do the things you do, and why you have become the person that you are. And it also shows the trajectory of the person you are going to be. Now, a lot of people may say, well, how do you go about a self-awareness journey? It's simple, right? If you can't afford going to, I highly recommend that you go on a self-awareness journey with a psychotherapist. Let a professional guide you. It's a journey that you can't go on alone. I'm being practical with you. You can't go on alone because there are things that they will be able to see you cannot see. Now, let's say you can't afford it for reasons, financial reasons. It's important that you try your best in your own capacity. Start with asking important questions. Understand why the things that happened to your child did happen. I was having a conversation with a young one recently, and he was telling me how he sat his mom down and asked her certain questions. And his mentality changed because there were things he saw that he did not understand, but he created a meaning for them in his head. Now, this meaning helped to build what he thinks about parenting and marriage. But after these questions, he came to understand that there are certain things he thought about his father that were not truly what they were. It's just that this is what he saw. And because most parents tend to protect their children from these experiences, he was not able to see the reality. But the conversation with his mom exposed a lot of things. So there are certain conversations you need to have with either your parents or your guardians, anyone that was there in your formative years. Ask them these questions. They will bring clarity to you. There are a lot of guides online, but I'm careful to recommend this because as well, there are people who can tell you everything and anything that will nudge you to a negative path. But start from yourself, right? If you can't afford a professional, go see your parents, go see your guardians, those, especially people who are part of your formative years, and ask them questions. They will give you clarity to a lot of things you think. Trust me, a person who is self-aware is someone who barely makes mistakes, and is someone who knows how to own their mistake and grow from it. If and when they make mistakes, they don't look for who to blame. No, like, okay, this is me. I could have done better. I could have chosen better, but this is the choice I made. Now I need to learn from this so that whatever situation I find myself next, I do not repeat this mistake. Those kind of people are people you don't easily please. You can't please them by performances, no, because they see through your performance. A self-aware person knows what they want. So you can come like what they want. It takes time, not so much of a time, because they are looking at you to see you beyond what you're saying. They hear what you say and look out for what you do not say, if they match. So if you're saying this and you're doing this, a self-aware person will, okay, it's fine, I've seen you, all right, this will not work. There's no need to waste my time. Right? So go on a self-awareness journey, get to know yourself better, so that when you get to do relationship. Now, the funny thing is, self-awareness doesn't just help you in relationship. It helps you in life generally. I've dealt with people who were struggling at their places of work, managing workplace crisis, managing workplace politics, managing leadership. And they think they didn't really understand that, oh, this is something that has to do with a dynamic experience I've had. So until we had those conversations, we decluttered and we delved into it, probed further, and we found, oh, okay, This is where this is coming from, and this is how you can readjust. And for most of them, they always come back to say, thank you, Dr. Josh. Thank you. This was a helpful thing for me, right? So go on a self-awareness journey. It's going to help you, not just to become a better person, but become a better partner. It makes you a better person to yourself and society. And it helps you to achieve the full length of who you truly want to be, or who you truly are meant to be. Is it Aristotle or Socrates that said an unexamined life is not worth living? This is one of the core principles I live my life by. I'm consistently examining my choices, my decisions, my actions and inactions. Not because I do not trust myself, but because I understand that as humans we are fallible. And infallibility are our weaknesses exposed. Do not think you know it all. Do not think you have it all. Do not think you can do it all. By the virtue of human nature, we're not meant to be alone. Whether you like it or not, whether it sounds good to you or not, that's not how we're meant to be. We're meant to be together. So do not, because you are unwilling to find the person that complements you, think being alone is okay. I've said this to a lot of people and in a lot of seminars that being alone looks fanciful and nice. When you are young, you still have all the energy and you're doing well. As you grow older, the reality of life will come. When you're in your 50s and 60s, you'll find that if you've not lost most of the people you call friends, if they have not left you, some would have passed away. And it's very rare you find 50, 60-year-old people doing friends together. It's not because they don't want to do it. It's because life has happened. So when you get to 50, you get to 60, you get to 70, you'll be alone. If you do not build a legacy, and I'm not just talking about wealthy legacy of wealth, I'm talking of legacy of people. If you do not build a legacy like that, you will suffer in that age. And even those who build legacy outside of family, how many of these legacies come back? What most people truly have in old age is family. So don't let the current mentality that it's okay to be alone to confuse you. Now, I'm not saying you can't be alone. I'm saying understand the choice you're making to be alone. Understand it. It's something that in the long run you live with. We don't act these things. It's the reality of our experience, right? So think about it and always make the right decision to help yourself. Thank you.